Hello, viewers. Marianne from Revealing Light Tarot. How are we all today? Wherever you are in the world, I hope that everything is fine and thank you for tuning in. I wanted to follow up yesterday's reading. I actually had done a reading on Richard Burr, the senator who is under investigation by the FBI for alleged insider trading. It was quite an interesting read, and I was very, very disappointed when I lost it. But there you go. We've got a lot of planets retrograde at the moment, and so it's not surprising that I'm having some technical difficulties. I also wanted to thank you for all your positive comments. Also, thank you to those people who have been sending in donations. They have been very welcome and gratefully received. I wanted to make a point too about yesterday's reading. I was trying to contrast the difference between diplomacy and politicization of an issue or an event. There is no doubt that China should that the origins of this virus should be investigated, no doubt whatsoever. But the diplomatic approach goes something like this. Yes, we need to investigate the start of this virus in China and its spread across the world. Now that's the diplomatic sentence, the diplomatic approach or way. That's contrasted with China. Let's investigate China and take the focus off what I did or didn't do as a leader of my country. So there are two different ways to go about it. The diplomatic way I prefer, through an independent body, and leave out the politicization of this. I think we'll all get further if we do that. So that's until we do that. The danger, of course, if we go at it through the political route, we might be playing to our base and to people who have criticisms of China that they may have held back, and now they can speak. And so it is one of those issues where politicization is quite opportunistic for leaders who are hoping to get re-elected. But the diplomatic approach is what works, what keeps the stability that we used to enjoy that we currently don't. So that was the point, that the politicization is going to cost, and that there is another way of doing it. There is the diplomatic route. So, all right. I wanted to today, as I said, to get back to the Richard Burr reading. I'm almost calling him Raymond Burr. If people remember, I was a kid watching Ironside. Some of you will remember that. Richard Burr, the senator. I digress. Richard Burr, the senator, head of Intelligence Committee. The reading that I did was quite revealing. I'll pull again on it without giving too much away, but the focus of the reading is this payback for the Senate Intelligence Russian report, which found Russia did actually interfere in the US 2016 elections. Why wasn't Senator Kelly Loeffler, the other GOP senator who also sold off shares, why wasn't she investigated? Why was Burr targeted is the question. Some of you will mention Senator Feinstein. Her shares are in a blind trust, which is totally different. All right, the second thing I wanted to do was look at Dominic Cummings. He is the senior advisor to Boris Johnson. I've had a lot of requests to read on him over the months. He was someone that spearheaded the Brexit campaign. I guess he attracts controversy wherever he goes. Just pulling out some of his quotes, I get he is wanting to, he's been likened to a revolutionary, and he's determined to bring down anything that doesn't work. Where have we heard that before? We've heard that from Steve Bannon. So that immediately I got a sense of those two being very linked. And in fact, I think Steve Bannon authored some of Johnson's speeches. before he was elected. Cummings is a he doesn't give much away. He lived in Russia between 1994 and 97. He uses Gmail instead of the official, or can use Gmail on occasions. He is reported to have said at the beginning of this pandemic, herd immunity is the way that we're going to go. We want to protect the economy, and if that means some pensioners die, well, that's too bad. He's denied that he ever said that. So I'm going to look at what his ties, if any, are to Russia. I also then have had a question around Obamagate. Is that sticking? Of course, it's a made up, trumped up, for want of a better word, trumped up talking point that the GOP have adopted. But is it going to get serious? Are Biden and Obama going to be subpoenaed by Lindsey Graham in the Senate? I mean, how bizarre does this get? I also want to visit the Biden's VP. Last time I read, I got a lot of feedback because people have their favourite candidate. I can't read on everybody, but I want to go back to Stacey Abrams, who initially got very positive cards. She appeared in a town hall with Biden yesterday. We'll take a look at Susan Rice. That was another request to take a look at her. She is Obama's former national security advisor and a former UN ambassador. And back to Kamala Harris, who I still feel is the front runner. If we've got time to do all that, we're doing well. But let's start now with Richard Burr. I'm using in this reading my Tarot Deluxe, Grand Tarot Deluxe. And also, if I have to clarify, I'll be clarifying with the Hanson Robert deck, a smaller cards that I particularly like. So let's get started. Let me just tune in here. Okay. All right. Is this payback for Burr's heading the Intelligence Committee and his chairmanship, which produced the Russian report? Is this some kind of vengeance? We know Trump is very, very vengeful. Is this payback to Richard Burr for his releasing of the Russian interference in the US election report? He's asked now the White House to release the last volume, Volume 5, which has been edited and declassified. He's actually asked, one of the last things that he did before he left, he stood down temporarily while the FBI investigate, was he asked the White House to release that last volume, which is again very meaningful as well. We will also look, is he likely to talk? Is he likely to do some interviews with the media? What's he likely to do? Let's have a look at Richard Burr. Was this payback? Did Trump try and pay back Burr for this Russian report? I think he did. We've got the Knight of Swords, which is the truth, the harsh truth. And really, this is Trump's card. This Knight of Swords brings forward something that he doesn't want to face, something that usually comes after a loss of some description. It comes forward to bring that truth forward so that we, in this case, the electorate, can have a look at just why and what Trump is trying to hide. Let's see what is challenging that Knight of Swords. We've got the Hermit card, which is isolation and review. The thing that worries me here, I know what my last reading showed. I won't get too far ahead of myself, but the thing that worries me is that report brought forward the truth, and that now Burr is being isolated and investigated, because the other aspect of the Hermit card is investigation. Why wasn't the other senator included in this investigation? Now, this is not saying he's not guilty of insider trading. We'll leave that for the investigation to determine. He is alleged to have traded those shares, used that information that he got on that committee, and sold off his shares before the pandemic. This is not a determination of whether he's guilty or not. This is about Trump paying him back. All right, we have the King of Swords, the investigation. So, we've got some really strong cards here. That this, of course, is what was being done. This is the report here, and this is the challenge. The Tower. Why would Trump do this? We've got the Tower. Russia is the Tower for Trump. Now we've got the Six of Coins, payback, giving and receiving, loans and debts. Now I think it was Whimsy's Oracle Tarot that actually said the way that Trump evens up the scale is by holding certain things on people. So this, if he is paying back Senator Burr, it is just the way that he operates. It's his modus operandi. And this, of course, goes to his debt to Russia. So it's highlighting something at a time, and we know he's desperate, with the Supreme Court ready to rule, to give his financials over to the House Intelligence Committee and or the Oversight Committee and or the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. This is in the sky. This is the issue. It goes to his desperation to keep the truth and Mueller's report. It's all in here, to keep it redacted, to keep it hidden, to keep it out of the public's view in the lead up to November. The Ten of Swords, total and utter downfall. This is Burr at the moment. So whether you think he's got what was coming to him, or whether you understand that this is not impartial justice at work, which leaves questions open on the FBI. Why haven't they opened an investigation into Senator Kelly? We do have victory in the here and now, absolute payback. Trump sees this as a victory, and he's out to pay who he considers his enemies back. The environment around this is illumination, but it is also my card for CV, which has put Trump in a very weakened position. His handling of CV has put him behind the eight ball. But in this case, it is illumination of what occurred in 2016 in the here and now that has come into this reading. He feels like he's been stabbed in the back. One could ask, was he? Let's have a look at the in the hopes and fears. We do have the Seven of Cups, illusion, delusion. This is his preferred position. He doesn't want this to be in the public. He cannot understand why this report was released. So we've got the Nine of Coins. Was this payback? Freedom, independence, financial resources, loans and debts. Let's have a look. And judgment, something coming to an inevitable end. So this again is justice, I guess, Trump's justice for Senator Burr, but this is also showing Trump as well. Now this is Trump and what might be likely coming for him. We've got the Two of Cups here, which is networks. It would be interesting to pull some clarifier cards on those, because I feel that he sees this as a disloyalty. Now, I felt a long time ago, and I think I did a reading, that Burr would be quite significant. I actually felt that he wanted to leave behind some sort of legacy because he is retiring. We might ask, why has Burr stepped out on the front foot with this Russian report? But I feel that Trump feels that this is this disloyalty. from Burr. Let's have a look. So show me this Two of Cups. I think that's where we'll start. Show me this Two of Cups. The Lovers, yeah. This is the unity that he expected that he didn't get. New starts as well. And the Three of Pentacles, yeah, the dark money. So he also sees Burr as a fool. What Burr did was very, very risky. And we've got the Three of Pentacles, which is this, I guess, atmosphere of muck that we see around the GOP, this manipulation with this Two of Pentacles. So he feels like he has been, that Burr has been disloyal to him. So there's always an emotional as well as a, I guess, not intellectual, but a mind aspect to this, a psychological aspect with Trump because of his narcissistic personality. But there's also this emotional thing. He feels like Burr has stabbed him in the back. Let's have a look at this Nine of Coins. And of course, that's where the vengeance originates from. Show me this Nine of Coins, please, Spirit. What is the Nine of Coins doing here? Let's have a look at that. The Ace of Rods, new starts. Yeah, there's a lot of new starts here. And the Queen of Cups, revelations. This goes to the overall bigger picture around Trump being judged in November by the voters for the way that he has used his position, perhaps to, of course, further his own financial interests, and of course how he has lied. We know he lies. I feel also this goes to what's in his financials as well. So he's really trying to put out the fires that will lead ultimately to his indebtedness to Russia coming forward. And once that's proven, then we get to Russia interfering in the election. And then we get to the legitimacy of his presidency. So you can see the huge issues that Burr raised that are coming forward here. I think the salient cards of this, we have both the Knight and the King of Swords coming forward, and we have the Hermit isolating Burr, investigating him. With this Six of Pentacles, this is also loans and debts. So as I said, his modus operandi is to demand this loyalty. Let's have a look at what's at the base of the pack. We do have the Eight of Wands. He moved quickly and he moved swiftly. We do have the Lovers, a card, which of course is my card, one of my cards for Trump. He comes forward in many personas, comes forward as the Lovers, the indebtedness that he expects from others. He comes forward as the King of Pentacles, enriching himself from his office. He sometimes comes forward as the Emperor, using his presidency to control and that power to control and prevent the truth coming out. He's trying to hold on to information. And again, we've got double validation in the Ace of Swords. This is all about trying to silence that report. Now, I wonder, some of it's already on the Senate website. I wonder about that last volume and what potentially is in that has him so worried. That is currently with the White House. Why did Burr ask for it to be released as a final, I guess, action before he stepped down from the Senate Intelligence Committee while he was being investigated? What's in that volume 5 that has Trump mobilizing his enablers such as Barr, who oversights the FBI? Let's have a look. What happened? All right, let's see it. All right, so will this last volume be released? Will this last volume of the report be released? Or again, we get that obstruction of information. No. and this is the card I got yesterday, it will be put on hold, suspended, the Hanged Man, suspension. The Two of Coins, can he actually do that? This is walking a tightrope. What is going to occur if he holds back that last volume? Whatever was in there is the problem. He doesn't want it. He doesn't want it out in the public domain. The Page of Wands, which is it is a political strategy, but it's not a king. This is also communications, whether or not we're actually going to see it. It's not a king. We have the Seven of Swords. Of course, this is the lies, the deceit. This is someone trying to get away with something, and it is most definitely a strategy that he had in the past. Are we going to see that report? The Six of Swords, moving on out of troubled waters. I'm suggesting that the targeting of Burr was done to keep this final report, or this volume 5, out of the public domain. Disappointment. We've got disappointment here. So I'm seeing that in the short term, they will hold that back. In the here and now, whatever was in it, things coming forward very, very quickly, that combined with what else is going on is what Trump wants to stop. Who's he going to put in charge? It's been rumoured it might be Marco Rubio, who's not qualified. He's not senior enough. He's not... Yeah. Look, we've got loss, hopes and fears here. He fears the loss in November. And we have Russia in the outcome. So, I think, and the devil. Okay, it's pretty clear. And the lovers. Ah, dear. Hold on to your seats. It looks like they're going to try and hold back that last volume, which is currently with the White House. At the base of the pack, we have the Knight of the King of Swords. The lawmakers, the people, the Democrats on that committee are not going to stand for it. There's going to be calls for an investigation of this. If this is held back, they're going to call, the Hierophant is going to call for an investigation to try and get to the truth. So, is this strategy going to work? Did it work in what Barr tried, the DOJ tried to do with Flynn? Look what's happened with that. People say, when will Trump's luck run out? Well, I guess when you're a bit of a laughing stock, when your opinion polls are tanking, when the front runner is so far ahead of you, the Democratic front runner, Biden is so far ahead of you, there's a little bit of disappointment and desperation as well. So it looks like they're going to stop the release of that. All right, so or suspend it or obstruct it in some way. Let's see, are they going to be successful? And then we'll get on to, I think, Dominic Cummings. Are they going, just one or two cards, are they going to be successful? Are they going to successfully hold back this last volume? The Magician, they're going to try actualizing something into reality, but we do have Illumination and the Sun card. So I'm feeling that ultimately, eventually, it will have to be released, but they're just going to muddy the waters like they did through the impeachment. This is all about defending themselves from the truth about Russian interference. Here we go. We've got our Knight of Swords again. So let's get on to Dominic Cummings. We'll go to the UK now. Dominic Cummings. Dominic Cummings. He's determined. He's been described as being determined to bring down anything that doesn't work. In his opinion, what is not working. So a bit of a revolutionary. All right, Dominic Cummings. Does he have ties to Russia? Does he have ties? Does Dominic Cummings Does he have ties to Russia? So it's sort of like revolutionary dressed up in something else. I mean, Russia is an oligarchy. It's not a communist country. Does Dominic Cummings have ties to Russia? Show me this, Spirit. Show me Dominic. Dominic Cummings. Does he have ties to Russia? The Five of Cups. We've got loss, grief. The Wheel of Fortune. This is going to show me the UK at the moment, I feel, and I'll go wherever it wants me to go. The challenge is things haven't turned yet. There's not been the recovery in the UK yet from this pandemic. There's a lot of grief and a lot of heartache and a lot of suffering. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. I go back to his comment. Here we go. Thank you, Spirit. I go back to his comment that he allegedly said, which he denied, to be fair, that herd immunity was what they were going for initially to protect the economy. And if that means some pensioners die, too bad. Okay. That's what I'm seeing in this. And as a result, he's doing it tough. But I did ask about Russia. It's gone to straight to that. So I always ask when I start my readings I ask Spirit to help me bring forward the information that is needed at the time. Justice is in the past. Unfortunately, this justice card came up during the UK elections. There is loss here. There is loss. Dominic Cummings was one of the leaders of the Brexit movement, bringing down again this what doesn't work, what he thinks doesn't work. But we've got the Knight of Coins here. So he is also has also been an advisor. He has had his own, I think, his own business, and he was advising big pharmaceuticals. So, mixed in with this revolution is the same sort of thing that we see from Steve Bannon. The ties are ultimately to big business. The Ace of Wands. A plan, a project. The other aspect is the Knight of Coins is a mercenary, someone who is hired for something. There is passion, though. I have to say, there is passion in what he does. He actually believes in what he does. But there is judgment coming for Dominic Cummings. And I do feel for Boris Johnson as well. This is all part of the justice card. The CV in the UK has hit so heavily in England. And then you go to Scotland, Wales and Ireland, Northern Ireland, much lighter numbers. It hasn't been as severe. The same thing with America. Why has it been so severe in America, which has the highest numbers there now across the world? These are answers that people are going to ultimately be asking at the end of this. There is investigation, this King of Swords and the Truth, and an investigation here. I feel it won't be too much longer before there is an investigation into Dominic Cummings with those cards in the present position. The King of Wands, the hopes and fears. This is, I think he does not have any regard for the Parliament because this is the lawmaker. The lawmakers here. This is a bit of a maverick here. We've got the Two of Wands. We've got something, I think, in relation to this investigation, I'm seeing something that will emerge in time. This is playing the waiting game. The partisanship, what might have been encouraged to the detriment of the UK. This is a long-term reading, and we do have new starts. So let's see what's the base of the pack. We do have the Hermit, and we do have the Devil, and we do have the Emperor card. Something in his past, I'm getting a draw to America, the Six of Cups, the past, and we've got secrets with this High Priestess, keeping things hidden. We do have the Page of Cups, which is surprise news. I think something's going to break on Dominic Cummings' ties to America and tied to the Trump White House, and also perhaps Russia, this whole circle. Perhaps he is part of a worldwide push, which is funded by the big corporations, the big business, the elite. We've got an abuse of power here. So is he doing Russia's bidding? I think it's a bit broader than that. I think that this is all part of the one thing. It's all part of what has gone on in the US, what has gone on in the UK, going back to Brexit. We've got Russia being a major player. We've also got big business, the elites, the Mercers, the Koch brothers, or it's only one brother now. We've got the Cambridge Analyticas mixed up in here. We've got the Steve Bannons. This is the same sort of thing. But it appears that justice is coming for him in some way. So let's now have a look, before we finish this reading, at Obamagate. Let's see if that's going to stick. Unfortunately, justice can often be something which is taken away. And we're learning that now with this pandemic. All right, so let's have a look at... I say again that we need absolute stability. Absolute stability. Putting the politicization, which is like an electrification of something for political ends, putting that aside and coming forward with calm, with logic, listening to the science. We need leaders we need good quality leaders to bring forward that approach, because we do not need the world to become any more unstable than it already is. It is at a tipping point at the moment. All right, let's have a look at Obamagate. Obamagate. All right, is Obamagate, whatever that supposedly is, Trump cannot say. Sideshow Don cannot say what Obamagate is. I guess when I heard it, I immediately smiled, because Obamagate, is like a decade. The gate thing is like a decade too old. It's not. It's not specific. It's just a buzzword, but it's an old buzzword. So let's have a look. Obamagate. Are people falling for it? Seven of Wands, he's using it because he's defending himself. It's all part of his defence strategy. He's challenged by retreating voter support here, the Four of Swords. He's doing it tough. The Ten of Wands, as they all are now. It's like that old saying, the chickens are starting to come home to roost. And we've got isolation in the past here. What's in the sky? Going back to the past. We've heard this on and off now since 2006, late 2016, 2017, all through 2017, all through 2018. The focus here is the Ten of Coins. This is to do with his organisation, the Trump organisation. These are matters coming in the past, having their focus in the past. The King of Cups in the here and now. It is an election strategy to keep his opposition out, and to create, with this Five of Wands, partisanship. Are people falling for it? The Page of Coins in the hopes and fears, also to detract and lay the groundwork for if we do get a look at his financials, because he's trying to take the focus off his own shortcomings and whipping something up But he is getting help to do that. I think the Three of Coins is showing me that the GOP membership base, not the people in the red states. This is his senators. I feel are going to support him. The Knight of Swords. We do have a harsh truth. So I'm feeling that people are more awake now to these strategies, the politicization, the electrification. I don't think it's working. We've got the Two of Wands is coming forward increasingly in my readings. It's a waiting game until he is out. We've got the Queen of Cups, Revelations. We've got the Page of Swords, the Spy in the Camp. And we've got full illumination, I feel, and secrets. And we've got his financials. Finally, we've got the Three of Swords, heartbreak and loss. I feel what is overlaying this reading is the current position that he's in. We often think of him as the big, Pennywise clown. In actual fact, if you look very closely at him, he's a desperate politician, a con man and charlatan, and he's trying to keep the truth hidden, and he's becoming very desperate to do that. And I think this is, again, like the Flynn matter, like the Burr matter. Obamagate is a beat-up. I'm just going to ask if Lindsey Graham is going to subpoena Biden. My gut feeling is no, but I did have that Three of Pentacles there, suggesting that there are some senators who might push for this. Will Obama and Biden, or either Obama or Biden, be subpoenaed to appear before Lindsey Graham's committee in the Senate? Will Biden or Obama? Something's fallen out. There's retreat here. No, that's the Four of Swords. I don't feel other things are going to take over this. Other things running in parallel. Will Lindsey Graham subpoena Obama and or Biden? We've got endings and beginnings, the World card. No, there are much greater issues at play, because we've got surprise news, bombshells coming forward, and we've also got the Page of Swords, the Spy in the Camp, and the Ace of Cups, new starts. So that's telling me no. At the base of the pack, we've got going back to Trump and his relationship with his foreign shadow foreign policy. We've got Russia in the frame. We've got 2016 election in the frame, and we've finally got loss here and walking away from something that is no longer working for him. What is no longer working for him? The presidency of the United States. Okay, so I think that other matters are going to overshadow this. So I don't think Obama's going to be subpoenaed. Imagine if they do that. Imagine what would happen then, setting a precedence and subpoenaing Trump later on. Interestingly enough, I'll finish with this, Biden has come out publicly in the last day or so and said he will not, if he's president after November, he will not pardon Trump. He will not pardon Trump. Okay, I'll leave it there, and I'll be back again for another reading soon. Thank you.